Hello guys, I'm back again. I'm Professor Prakash Naik, HOD of BCA Department, Anjuman Institute of Management and Computer Application, Patkan. Today, I'm going to do a session on Introduction to Software. So this topic is for the beginners to BCA. So today's session will be an interesting one. We shall learn what exactly is software. So what are the benefits of softwares? What is software development? What are software developers? What all job prospects we have in software development? We shall learn the classifications of softwares like system software and application softwares. So before I proceed, I request to all the viewers, please like and subscribe my channel so that it will give me more motivation in creating videos. Okay, let me proceed. The topics for discussion: introduction of software and classification of software. Now, as a beginner to a computer, in a student mind, one question always comes: what is a software? So, let me directly come to definition. Software is nothing but a group of programs interlinked to each other designed to do a specific task. This means there won't be one program, there will be many programs, and each program will be interlinked to each other. Let us take an example of a website. In the website, what we have? We have a home page. And to this home page, many other web pages are linked together. What happens? As we click on the hyperlink, the other web page will directly get opened. Now let me take one more example. Accounting software. In this accounting software, what we have is, we have company creation, we have ledger creation, we have voucher creation, we have voucher entry, we have displaying the balance sheet, we have displaying the day book, we have displaying the trial balance, so on. What are these? Are they a single program? No. There are many programs. One program will create company, another program will create ledgers, there is one more program will create vouchers, voucher entries, there is another program that will display the day book, and that will display the balance sheet, so on. All the programs works in parallel. They are working together. So they are called as group of programs which are interlinked to each other, designed to do a specific task. Okay, now here we learned exactly what is a software. Okay. Now when I say what is a software, one topic comes, that is what is program. What is a program? Set of instruction given to the computer to do a specific task. Now why these instructions are required? We all know that computers are dumb. It doesn't know how to do the calculations. How to perform the calculation, we have to instruct the computer. And these instructions is given to the computer in the form of programs. So there will be one instruction to accept the input. There will be one instruction to check the data. There will be one instruction to perform the calculations. There will be one more instruction to show the output, store the data, so on. All the what? Set of instructions. So every program, every software has one or more programs, right? And in every program there are set of instructions. Okay, now let me proceed. Actually, software will direct all the peripheral devices on the entire computer system as to what exactly to do and how to perform the task. Peripheral devices means hardware. It gives the direction to the hardware what exactly to do and how to do it. For example, printer. What is the job of the printer? The printer's job is to print the document. So this direction is given by the software. Coming to monitor. What is the work of the monitor? Whatever is inputted on the through the keyboard, it should be displayed on the computer screen. Or whatever information is retrieved from a data file or from a database should be shown on the screen. Who directs this? The software will direct this. So every direction to the hardware is given by the software. Further, the software plays a key role as a mediator. It's a mediator between the user and the computer hardware, because the user will put a request to the software for some specific information. The software will understand the request, come in contact with the hardware, retrieve the data, and again show back to the user. This is the work of the software. But who develops this? The person who develops this software is called as a programmer, or is called as a software developer, or is called as a software engineer. Now there is a very huge demand for software developers in today's IT market. There are many companies who hire software developers because India is very much good in programming, very much good in developing softwares. People develop websites, they develop mobile apps, right? They develop Android apps, they develop iOS apps. Then the gaming softwares are developed, client server applications are developed, so on. So there is a very huge demand for software development. So many students go for software development for this reason, because we get handsome salary from multinational companies. So my request to all my students is that you learn the software development from the scratch and be a professional software developer. So with this, I proceed to further session. Classifications. How are the softwares classified? Softwares are classified into system software and application software. So we need to learn these two. What is system software and what is application software? Let me come to the first one, system software. So system software is a software that is designed to run computer hardware and application program. Means what? System software will run the hardware, will make the hardware work, and also will run the application program. In other words, system software is a software that integrates with the hardware. It checks whether the particular hardware is there or not, is present or not. If it is present, it also checks whether it is in a working condition or not. Right? If it is not in a working condition, a message is flashed on the screen saying that the particular hardware is not working. So such softwares. So what are the different system softwares? We'll learn a bit later. See here, we have system softwares are mainly classified into operating system, language processor, utility software, right? Now what is an operating system? Set of programs that controls the entire operation of the computer is called as operating system. Now see, when we on the computer or when we on the laptop, one software will automatically get loaded into the computer memory and will stay until we off the machine or until we off the laptop. During this process, whatever requirements will be put to the computer, all these requirements are handled by operating system. For example, creating a file, updating a file, deleting a file, moving a file, copying a file, sharing a file. All these tasks are handled by operating system. So, set of programs that controls the whole operation of the computer is operating system. In other words, operating system is a system software that manages computer hardware, software resources, and provides services for computer programs. So this operating system will integrate with hardwares. For example, printer, monitor, scanner, right? With all these, what will do is they'll integrate and make our work easier. Now coming to the different operating systems. So from the beginning, some of the operating systems are MS-DOS, PC-DOS. These two are single user operating system, or I can say standalone operating system. That means what? At one time only one job can be performed. Only a single user can perform at a time. MS-DOS is the product of Microsoft, so called as Microsoft Disk Operating System. PC-DOS, personal computer disk operating system. Now, Unix, Linux, Windows, Android are multi-user operating systems. Now, you may ask me what this exactly is single user, multi-user. As the name indicates, single user, at one time only one person can operate. So here, at one time only one job can be performed. Take for example, you have put for printing. You have put for printing in MS-DOS mode, you have put for printing, and the file is very large. Until the printing gets over, you have to sit idle. Why? Because at one time it will do only one job. The same if you do in Windows or Linux. What happens is you can put the printing job in background and you can do some other task. So your work becomes easier, your works become faster. So this Windows, Linux, Unix, Android, what is that? Is they work in a network-based application or a distributed application. So what we'll have? We'll be having username, we'll be having user password. So as you give an username and password, you are checked whether you are an authentic user or not. Then only you are given an access. And at one time, more than one person will be operating on this particular operating system. Okay. So Windows, we come across various versions of Windows like Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows 2000, Windows NT. So now likewise we are under to Windows 10. Right? So in smartphones, what we use? We use Android as an operating system. We all know by using this Android is a touch screen. So many of the apps are working with the help of Android. And even in some of the recent computers, Android has been enabled. So in some of the latest computer, what is that is? Android operating system is being used. Language translator. So this is another system program. It is also called as program translator. Actually, what we do? Using high level language or using assembly level language, what we do is we write programs. In high level language, when you write a program, it will be in English based language. Computer doesn't understand English. To be frank, computer doesn't understand English. Right? And we don't understand machine level language. It is in the form of zeros and ones. Writing a program in machine level language is very difficult because we have to learn all the codes of zeros and ones. So what we do? We write in an English based language. As computer doesn't understand English language, we need one program that will convert our high level language code into machine level language code. This machine level language code will be in the form of zeros and ones. So who does this job? The program translator or the language translator will do this job. The programming language will have various structures, will have various commands. But the computer processor will understand only one language, that is machine level language. Now, these language translators or program translators are of three types: compiler, interpreter, and assembler. So let us learn what exactly is compiler, interpreter, and assembler. Compiler is a translation program that translates high-level language source code into object code. What is object code? Machine code. What is source code? High-level language code. Right? What does compiler will do? Compiler will read the whole program. If there is no errors in the program, if there is no mistakes in the program, or in other words, there is no bugs in the program, so the program will be converted into machine level language or object code. But in case if there is any mistakes in the program or bugs in the program, all the mistakes at once are shown on the screen. And many times one error leads to many errors. And if one error is rectified, all the other errors will automatically be rectified. Right? So if the compilation is successful, what happens is it creates an executable file. Now exactly what is the motive behind compiling is that we are testing whether the program that we have written is right or not, is correct or not. To check for mistakes, what we need to do? We need to compile it. So during compilation, it may show some errors. That errors has to be modified, which is called as debugging. Now coming to the next one, interpreter. Interpreter is somewhat similar to compiler, but compiler reads the whole program at a time and shows numerous errors if any. Whereas interpreter, it doesn't read the whole program. It reads a single line of instruction. And if there is no error, that one line of instruction is converted into object code or machine code. And in case if any errors are there, mistakes are there, only that one line mistake is shown on the screen. So for the user, it becomes easier to modify the mistakes. It won't show several errors. It won't show several mistakes. It will show only the current line mistakes. Right? Because of this, interpreter is slow compared to compilers. It doesn't create an executable file or exe file. So what is the use of exe file? By means of exe file, we can run directly through the desktop, or we can run directly through the command prompt by means of executable file or exe file. But interpreter will not allow any exe file to be created. Right? It creates only obj files. Now, in compiler, the program is translated completely and directly executable version is created. That is, exe is created. Interpreter translates each instruction, executes that instruction. It fetches the instruction, executes those instructions, and then goes to the next instruction until it reaches the end of the program. Since it interprets or since it executes line by line, it is called as line interpreter. It is called as line interpreter. So it is much slower, okay, compared to compiled program. Now let's see the difference between interpreter and compiler. Number one, compiler. Compiler is fast, interpreter is slow. Compiler is fast, interpreter is slow. Second point, compiler creates executable file that runs directly on the CPU. On the other hand, interpreter does not create any executable file. It interprets each line of code at a time. Point number three, debugging is difficult in compiler because one error can produce many other errors. Whereas in interpreter, debugging is easier because only one line of code is executed, each code is analyzed, and if any errors are there, only one line of error is shown to us. The fourth difference is that compiler uses more memory, whereas interpreter uses less memory. And the fifth one is unauthorized modification to the code is difficult in compilers. Whereas in case of interpreters, it is easier to modify as the instructions are at high level, and so the program flow is easier to understand and modify. So this was the difference between interpreter and compiler. Coming to assembler. Apart from machine language and apart from high level language, we have one more language called as assembly level language. This is a language of mnemonics, that is a language in the form of codes. Language in the form of symbols. For example, for add we use ADD, for subtract we use SUB, for divide we use DIV, so on. Right? This is a low level language. Now, the programs written in assembly level language is also not understood by the computer. We need to convert it to machine level language, and for this, we use a program translator called as assembler. It translates the assembly language into machine language code. Okay. This was about application software. Now let us come to, this was about system software. Now we will come to application software. What is an application software? It is a program or a group of programs designed for the end user. In other words, software that is designed as per the requirement of the user is called as application software. In short, it is called as app. So some of the examples are word processor, spreadsheet, accounting software, web browser, media player, console games, photo editor, so on. Now this application software, there are two types: customized application software and general application software. So now assume that I have my business. Depending upon my business, depending upon my requirement, I will develop a software. It is a customized software. Think that one shop owner has consulted me and he has told me to develop a software for him. So he ask him his requirement. So depending upon his requirement, I develop a software. So such a software is a customized application software. So depending upon the requirement of the client, certain softwares are developed which are called as customized application softwares. Whereas general application softwares are software that is developed keeping in mind the general requirement for carrying out a specific task. These application softwares are generally developed by companies, keeping in mind what are the general requirements of the users. Take for example MS Word. MS Word is not according to the requirement of a particular person. It is according to the requirement in general. Excel, same way. Right? So PowerPoint, same way. Right? Web browser. Okay, media player, all these are general application softwares. They have been developed by companies as per the general requirement for carrying out a specific task. So this part was over. This was the example of general purpose softwares, that is word processor, spreadsheet, database management, presentation, communication, desktop publishing, graphics, and computer aided design. So I won't go in detail what is word processing, what is spreadsheet, because most of you are aware of all this. Thank you. So again I request you, if you have not subscribed my video, please subscribe my video. Thank you once again.